So there's a new patch, and it's a greatly needed one. The Typhoon Boat strategy has been terrorizing the ladder for quite a while, and we will get a nerf to them. But first, let's see what they're up to. So they're adjusting how the combat power system works. I've been reading some forums. People are really feeling shitty about losing their combat power. I have to agree, I don't see any purpose on keeping the combat power in the game actually. Like, shouldn't all these leagues, like Silver League to Grandmaster League or whatever, shouldn't they be based on MMR? And then there would be the seasonal track with combat power or some maybe other name for it. It makes zero sense to me. But they're adjusting so you don't lose that much combat power. More season rewards and Grandmaster League. Okay. So performance optimization, that's good, I guess. And now the balance adjustments. I glanced through these and these are fucking crazy. Like, I don't know what they're thinking. Like, the big offenders here was the Typhoon Boat strategy. But the thing is, I don't think the Typhoon is actually that strong of a unit. It's basically the combination of like Typhoon Ball, Typhoon Overlord. Like, now they are nerfing the Typhoon Barrier, the health from, well, there's 2 units, so it's like 20k total to 16k total, and increasing the cost to 400. And I kinda, maybe the shield was too strong a little bit, but I kinda don't like that they're increasing the cost. I think this game needs multiple ways to fight fire and oil and stuff like that, and the Typhoon Barrier was a cheap way to do that. And now they are upping the cost so you cannot go it early. So why not just keep the cost the same and maybe decrease the health more if they wanna nerf it more? Like, the same thing happened with the Fort Barrier. You just cannot have any kind of barriers that move with your army in the early stages of the game. So you will lose to all spells and missiles and stuff like that when playing aggressive. I don't like it at all. Then this is crazy, the Overlord artillery. So the damage has been nerfed to from 11k to 4k. So it's like 65% decrease or something. That's insane. And then the range has been increased to 120 to 140. So what this means is that you can actually go all the boat decks. Like, you can go range and overload. And then when you have range and overload, the ground cannon has the same range than the rest of them, right? Before it was like, if you go range on the overlord, you cannot actually, sometimes the ground cannon doesn't trigger because it cannot reach its targets unless something is moved towards it. This just dumpsters technology, right? There's no point in ever taking this. Like, you just go, take this off, go launcher range every time. Not even think about it. I think this deck was highly overpowered. It was crazy, but how I would have nerfed it is I would have removed the small splash from the ground cannon because it was actually decent chaff clear as well. And then I would have decreased damage to maybe 8k or something. But this is way too excessive. They need to change the cost of this. This should cost like 200. Now it costs 350. You just never use this technology, I feel like. Just take it off. But like, this nerf are, I think, so crazy. Nothing in this game has had this treatment before, I think. But the boat is still a good unit, right? The carry boat is legit. You don't need the ground cannon. It's just one way of playing it. But I think how this will affect the meta is that Vulcan and War factories are gonna be even stronger. Like, maybe even the cheese factories, like round 4 factories, what Conclusion has been doing lately a lot. I think boat was a big counter to that. Then they are nerfing the Stormcaller damage. Okay. I think the Storm it's not good in aggression, it's not good in defending aggro, but it's completely OP in like long range games. And this is kind of weird that the dev note says that the Tarantula it's too strong against the Tarantula. And I think it's actually like the Spider is not a good unit in long range games, right? And when you are getting like Spider pushed, the Stormcaller is a terrible unit. It may work for like 1 or 2 rounds, but that's about it. So a little bit of an interesting note here. I don't know how they think about these things. But yeah, it's a good nerf, I think. Then the loose crawler. This was like one of the big offenders here also. It was way too strong, way too often. And it made the compositions, like you couldn't build certain compositions because of this tech existing. And it's an interesting change that you can now, they are very vulnerable to enemy crawlers, like early game replicates and stuff like that, and Mustangs and Vulcans, of course. And now you cannot go Subterranean, Bliss, and Loose Formation because it doesn't make any sense. Before it was kind of good versus like Fire. So I'm happy they are nerfing this tech, but I don't think this tech should be in the game. What do you guys think, by the way? I think they should just remove this technology. I feel it breaks some of the ground rules of this game. Then the Fortress is getting nerfed again, every patch. Well, it is pretty strong still. So I wonder if this is warranted. Probably they have stats about this, so probably the Fortress is still too strong. The Fortress is also in a bit of a weird place. Like the level 2 Fortress is, I think, very strong unit. But level 1 Fortress, not so much. Then they are nerfing Elite Marksman on the Marksman and Arclight. I guess this is a response to maybe all the giant nerfs recently. That the normal units will kill the giants too fast now. Not quite sure. I haven't actually seen Elite Marksman on the Marksman that much. On the Arclight I have seen it a lot, and it performs pretty well, I think. Like they carry Arclight without the actual carry tech. Like go range and Elite Marksman, it's pretty good most of the time. But yeah, then the Vulcan. Yeah, the Vulcan is very strong unit, and with the ground cannon nerf on the boat, it will become even stronger. So I feel like this nerf is fine. Assault melting point speed bonus increased from 3 to 5. Yeah, maybe it's useful sometimes, I don't know. This was kind of interesting. The steel ball fortified target lock no longer decreases range. I wonder, I wouldn't think this technology is any good on the normal steel balls, but on the extended range steel ball card, maybe this is now like insane. So we shall see. But I don't think you should take this without the card. Not 100% sure though. It has its use cases, of course. Then the Arclight, we talked about that also already. So the Scorpion, so they're decreasing the Scorpion health by 5%. I think the Scorpion is overall like pretty okay unit, not too strong, not too weak, but it's very strong on certain drop turns and against some compositions. So I feel like the Scorpion actually could be nerfed quite a lot. And the 5% HP is whatever. And they're now unnerfing the field maintenance again. It used to give Scorpions also 30% HP in the past. And I like this a lot, that it gives like multiple roles to the Scorpions. You can actually decide how you are gonna use it. But this is pretty toxic with the high level Scorpion drop sometimes. Then the Fire Batcher, after the decent nerfs, like the Fire Batcher was really good in some situations earlier, but after the recent nerf, it didn't perform that well for me. Like something changed a lot about them. And now they are decreasing the cost of napalm from 300 to 200. Maybe this will, like, I don't like to have these fire techs so cheaply available. But this will make the Badger pretty good on some use cases. Like the napalm is pretty toxic because you can like force the fire anywhere. You cannot block it with barriers, you cannot block it with anything. Say just napalm one spot and all your chaff is gonna run to it. So the napalm tech is pretty good now, I think. And the scorching fire, I don't think has been really good with the Badgers. Only exception is that the level 3 Badger drop you can get. Like high level Badgers with this scorching fire is pretty insane. But I found I didn't take that much. When I got the big drop, and I sometimes pressed this button and sometimes it was crazy. Then the Tarantulan's armor piercing bullets cost is decreased from 200 to 150. Yeah, I think this is the most troll tech of the Tarantula. Like you need some kind of other source of damage with the Tarantulas, and this just reduces its, or it doesn't buff its chaff clear ability at all compared to like the mech raids. But maybe it's usable on some scenarios, I don't know. And bug fixes fix some display issues. Have you guys seen some of the bugs in the game, by the way? They're pretty crazy. Someone showed this on stream, I forget who it was, maybe it was Sako. Like, look at this shit. The oil is here, but there's fire under the fort. Talk about some bugs in the game. Yeah, but I think the patch was overall like great, but like way too harsh, I think. But it fixed the problems people were having, so I'm like happy with it. I just hope they will make new adjustment pretty soon, like next week. Yeah, thanks for watching.